decide to separate, we had a few challenges. So then we had to live apart from each other. So in the first year, okay, I'd say that it was about 2 years of separation because that was when things went downhill. And
during the separation?
yes, the first year wasn't separation actually. We're having challenges, and then I had to be in Ghana and he had to be out there. So it wasn't because we had decided we wanted to separate.
Okay.
But in that 1 year period, that was when the challenges got even worse.
Okay.
Yes. And then it got to a point where communication had broken down. We just couldn't agree on anything. And it was difficult. It was very difficult.
So in your case, I mean, am I right to say that living apart worsened it? Probably if you were living together, you could have made things work?
Yes. If we had been together, it could have worked.
It could have worked.
Yes. We could have made it better, that I'd say.
Okay. So I hear a lot of people, like old people, say that moving out of the house is not the best thing to do. It's not the best thing to do. You're beginning to make me see that clear.
Well, it depends. I think it depends on whatever situation. Every marriage and its peculiar challenges. Mine wasn't as if I decided to move out of the house. No, because initially we were not here. We lived together out there. And then there was a challenge and I had to come back here. Like you said, if you are together, but if it's an abusive relationship,
of course,
that could result in fatalities and harm, then you don't want to be there. Sometimes that break also helps the two of you to figure yourselves out and what you really want to do. So it depends on what your challenges are.
Did you stay apart out of anger?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
It was later
I want to understand how you two came to that understanding that, okay, it was about time we lived apart.
It wasn't about time we lived apart from the beginning, like I said. There was a challenge.
Okay.
So we agreed that he stays out there and I stay here.
Did you seek counseling? Did you speak to anyone about the challenge to see how it could be solved?
We had plans of resolving it and getting back together out there.
Okay, you two had.
Yes, it was. I was supposed to be here for a year or two, and then
go back to China.
Yes, resolve whatever it was, and then get back there.
Okay.
But in that first year of my being here, it was tough. I lived in my sister-in-law's house, and that was where it all began. Yes, my sister-in-law's workers were in the house some way, somehow. I don't know if it was that they were seeking favor from her or what, but they tend to tell her things that were not. So that was where we started having, okay, where have you been? They said you go home at 8:30, you close from work at 4. Why are you now getting home? And then there was the issue of trust. Yes. So when that came in...
Did you have trust issues before living apart?
I think we both had trust issues.
Okay.
Yes. How the whole thing started, he had trust issues because he was way older than I am, and
okay.
Yes, he felt like
okay.
I am a young woman and he leaving me. Even when we were dating, I found out later that he would always call one or two people and said, "Oh, she says she's close from lectures and she's going to her hostel," and it's taking more than it's because her hostel is just about 5 minutes drive from her lecture halls, and now I called her and she said she's not on there. I mean, it was like that.
Oh,
so
okay.
When we had to be apart, he fed on all of that information
it just worsened.
He was getting, and it worsened. but he did not tell me until something came up, and then went to my parents and told them so, and it got worse by the day.
Okay. So the 1 year that wasn't intended to be a period of separation that eventually turned into that. When were your parents?
My parents were in their house back in Kumasi.
Oh, okay. And again, I am wondering, how come you had to stay in your in-laws' house when you got back? Couldn't you have gotten an apartment on your own?
My in-law doesn't live in the house. She lives in England.
Oh.
So it was an empty house.
Okay.
So the workers
Very
were
convenient.
only in the boys' quarters. So we thought that it was just prudent that instead of spending money to get another place to live.
And it was just going to be for a year.
It was supposed to be just for a year, at most two. Then I'd get back to wherever he was and we could be together.
I see. So those periods, so what? From the 1 year you left up until the 3 years of, when it became a proper separation, did you ever go back to him?
No, I didn't. He came.
Okay.
He came to Ghana for I think his sister's funeral and then his grandmother's funeral. During his grandmother's funeral, I'd say that we were separated because I was no longer living in my sister-in-law's house. I had moved out because there were just too many issues. Yes.
Wow.
I had moved out. So, but when he came for his sister's funeral, we were together. We lived in the same house.
Okay.
But not for his grandmother's funeral. Then I'd moved out of the house.
Okay. So now that period, where now you're separated, were you sure you were going to get a divorce?
No.
Okay.
I didn't want it. I didn't want it. I wanted to make it work because I told myself.
Even when you had moved out of the house?
Yes. Because I told myself that others have done it. I can do it. There were so many, as you would always say, red flags in the beginning. And this one would say, like I said, the age difference gap was wide.
Yeah.
So people would say, hey, he's older and they don't trust the young people. And then he'll treat you like a child. But I didn't have that. He did not treat me like a child.
When you were dating? When you're courting? Or even
when we're married. He did not treat me like a child. We would discuss everything and would come to that conclusion. We had our differences. Everybody has their differences. So he didn't treat me like that. There were a few things that, as was said, existed. But I prayed about it and I said that I'm not going to let that stop this marriage. The only thing that will stop this marriage is when I feel like I can't do it. I really feel like I can't do it any longer. And I don't feel like that now, so I'm not going to give up. I worked hard at it. Family came in.
During that period?
Yes. The separation period. Yes. When I moved out of the house, yes. Family came in. My parents...
But tell me, what were you thinking about when you moved? Your thought processes.
Okay. I didn't move.
What considerations did you give to
let
moving?
let me say this. I didn't move out of the house.
Okay.
I was asked to move out of the house. He called me. We had been arguing back and forth, and every time when we talk, we would end up fighting. So it got to a point where I told myself, I'm not going to fight him again. So whenever I speak to him, and he starts talking, I just be quiet and listen to him. I'll go like, yo, okay, Mate, no problem. And that is what I did because I didn't want to fight. I was tired of fighting. And if I was going to fight, it was to make it better. It was not to win the argument. No, I didn't want to do that. So you win. If that is what is going to keep us going, I will make you win and then just go ahead. And then one day I get a call from him that they're going to do some renovation works in the house. It's going to be a big one, so I can't. It will not.
Continue
It will
to
not
be
be
there.
habitable. So I have to find a place. Would I get somewhere to go? I just paused and I said, no, but nyame betre. Because we had gotten to the point where I knew that he was not ready to support me get a place, because he would have said, oh, I think he would have said, okay, this is what is going to happen, Auntie, let's do this, find a place, this is our budget, and then let's see
Yeah.
how we're going to take care of that. But that didn't happen. I cried that day, but I'd prayed to God to put my life in order. I remember that year ICGC, I was in ICGC then, the year our theme was order. So when we went to church the 31st night, I went to stand in some corner by some car, ICGC Calvary Temple, on the car park, at the car park. And I prayed and I cried unto God that God put my life in order. So when I cried that day, I had a still small voice tell me that, why are you crying? I said, you said I should put your life in order, and that is what I'm doing. So I said, okay. I wiped my tears, I packed my things, and I started looking for a place. Thankfully, I had a friend who had a house somewhere in Ghana, East Legon. I know his sister, so I spoke to the sister. I said, oh, you can go live there for the time being until you find a place. So that was how I moved out of the house. It wasn't as if I decided to move out of the house.
And
Till date, I don't think he even knew where I was living. I ever lived.
at that point, I mean, had you come to the point or to the thinking that that was going to be the end of the marriage?
No.
You were still hopeful.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
It was after that I spoke to his uncle. And I told his uncle that, Uncle, this is what is happening. Please, I want you to talk to your nephew. And the uncle called him, spoke to him. And then when he came for the grandmother's funeral, we sat down to have a conversation. But before then, my family was trying to resolve it. And a lot of things had happened. It was unpleasant. The conversations that had ensued between him and my parents and an uncle of mine. My uncle said he was not going to come in again because he was disrespected. Wow. But I pleaded with him that he's not doing it for him. He's doing it for me as his niece. So I worked at it. I worked really hard at it. I think that at some point he was also trying to make it. I wouldn't say I'm the only one who was working hard at it. But I think he got to a point where, speculative, I heard that he was with somebody and out there whilst I'm here. And so I was like, still, I haven't given up. He came a couple of times. I didn't know he had come. Then I heard. Then the second time he came, I heard that he had come. So I went looking for him. That was even very difficult for me to reach. I didn't know where he was. But I called.
Wow.
I called one or two people. They didn't want to give me the information. But I said, you know what? This is what I'm trying to do. So please help me out. And then I got information where I could find him. I got up one early morning. I called his phone with a different number. Luckily, he answered his phone. So I rushed there and I met him. He said he wasn't feeling well. And we had breakfast and
his reasons for staying away, why didn't he want you to know that he was back?
He was upset with me because he thought that I had embarrassed him by talking to his uncle. Yes.
But you needed help.
Yes.
And you wanted it resolved.
Well, one thing that he said he felt most embarrassed most was, he said I told him that I don't feel the same way I felt in the beginning. And it means I don't love him anymore. So that is very disgraceful.
And this was between the two of you?
No, it wasn't
in the presence of people?
Yes, in the presence of his uncle, my parents, his aunties. Wow. So he said I disgraced him. And I told him that's okay. You know what? I did that. And that was the truth. But I am still here pleading with you that let's make this work. He said, oh, well, whatever you want to do It's up to you. You disgraced me. So I was like, so what do you want me to do now? I'm pleading with you. Let's make this work. And he said, he's done.
Oh, okay.
He's not ready to do anything, whatever decision I want to take. If I say I don't feel the same way again, he can't force me to bring my emotions back to where they were. And I said, okay.
Even when you were ready to eat back your words and, put work to it.
Yes.
I
So
see.
that morning, I told him, okay, if you're going to continue with this, then we went through the ordinance. So we have to go through that same process, the legal process, to end this. Because if you're not ready to work, I'm not going to push you also. And he said, you can do whatever you want to do. I said, okay, you have to appoint a power of attorney. He said, no, you can do whatever you want to do. Nobody's going to do anything. I can't appoint anything. What are you talking about? And then I was like, okay. So I left. When I left, I spoke to a lawyer friend that this is what has happened.
At that point, you were decided now.
Oh, yes. When he did that, because he had come twice, fly business class, KLM, come live in a hotel for 2-3 days and fly back business class and go wherever you're going. And spoke to somebody, a couple of friends, and they asked where your wife is. Oh, I don't have money to give to her, so I didn't tell her I was coming to Ghana. Yeah, then, I knew that he didn't want to do it, but he was waiting he didn't want to be the one
to initiate
I still feel like because he didn't want to go through that pay alimony and settlement and stuff like that, that's why he didn't want to be, even though he did. I get that feeling that he did, because then he was already seeing somebody, he had taken somebody to meet people I know out there who had told me about it. So I was like, well, I don't think that he's ready to work on it. He's already started something that is going for him. I'm still young and I have my whole life ahead of me. I don't think I want to wait. So I filed. The bailiff, I'm told that the bailiff got there and gave him the summons and he fought. He said he wouldn't take it. Yeah, I still don't understand why he decided not to take it. But he said, me a smartphone, like I'm a messenger. Or like once I've seen you,
you have to
show up. He never showed up in court. He never showed up in court. I don't know even if he got married, I think a couple of years. He came back to Ghana and got married a couple of years. Last 2 years. Yes, I think 2 years ago or last year somewhere. I'm not sure he actually knew that there had been the process. The family still have not taken the what they call it, the drinks. Yes, my parents called them. They didn't make time for us. So yes, that is how it was.
Wow. But then eventually the divorce has been granted.
Well, yes, the judge said he didn't show up. So
you're free
whatever I want. That's it. I settled it. I didn't ask for anything because I didn't want to keep fighting.
So
that's
how come the marriage just ended.
Yeah.
That's how it just ended.
Yes.
Just like that.
Yes.
Wow. And it's been 3 years.
Yes.
Are you friends? Do you talk?
No.
No relationship whatsoever. Did you have a child together?
No. I had a stepchild, but I'm still in contact with her. I talk to her. I speak to her every now and then.
That is his child.
Yes, and we're good friends because she was
How old is she?
Now she is 25.
Okay, she's
26.
a big girl.
Yes, so we became friends. We became friends. I remember last week the conversation you had. I wanted to phone in and talk about that when there's a child in it before. Yeah, we became friends. She became my friend and we're still friends. I talk to her more than, I don't even talk to her father. I talk to her all the time.
Wow. Sometimes just when you think you've heard it all, you hear new ones. Adam, good morning. You're welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Joy Corporate Junction. Shania, are you one of the people who left there at 2 a.m.? Mama T, good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Morning.
How are you doing?
Grace, plenty of grace.
Great. Before I come to you, Eden, Mama T, the church. I mean, you've heard Sawa's story. The church, the family, and society. You represent all of them. And I know that for what you do, you have also experienced this. You've seen a lot of things. You've had to mediate between a lot of issues. And then the separation, sometimes, well, we're able to work it through and people come back. There are times that, just like Sir West didn't work, it just ends like that. So what? So again, there was nothing to it. You're crying.
Oh, please, you didn't have to say that.
But we're live on Facebook.
Oh no. Okay. There was a lot to it.
Don't worry, pull yourself
okay,
together.
all right.
Mama T, what role does the church play in separating couples?
Okay, good morning to everybody listening. We were late small, plenty of traffic.
I know, right? This is the first time you are late.
Yes, plenty
You're
of traffic.
pardoned.
Yeah, thank you very much. Right, I just can't imagine what is going on. Even after 3 years,
Yeah.
she still feels the pain, the hurt. But I know God has already put you together. Sometimes you remember these things and you are a little, but I know it is not really too difficult now. You have tried. You are a strong woman. I was listening to her. Even when I was on my way, I was like, wow, she's a strong woman. She's a strong woman. You have tried. The church, as a matter of fact, separation, I understand, is not really what we practice here in Africa, especially in Ghana. It is either we are married or we are outright divorced. But over the years, people have separated many times before they're either completely divorced or we work at it, mediation here and there, and then we are able to talk them into coming back. The church, the clergy, have no right to separate anybody except when the relationship is very, very abusive and somebody is just about dying, or I mean the man comes always and is, if you don't do this, I mean somebody showed me an already cocked gun, yes, in her home. And if you tell anybody about this,
you're gone.
Yes. And he was actually showing it to the wife and the two little children.
Hey.
Yes, to very little children. At the point that
Here
he had to,
in Ghana.
Oh yes, here in Accra. At the point the lady had to move from their house, and she could not live with any member of the family or friends because the husband was looking for her everywhere. So she had to be sleeping in her office for months. And he really wouldn't think that the lady would go sleeping in her office, so he didn't go looking for her there. She went through too much. The church can't separate any couple unless it is getting very bad, and we can't also allow somebody to die for marriage. I still believe that nobody has the right to die for anybody in this life. Jesus has already died, that's all. You can't even die for yourself. If you decide to commit suicide and you don't die in the attempt and government catch you.
I know, right?
and you will certainly be arrested. And so the church can't do it unless there is a difficulty like this. And the only thing the church can do is to keep talking them into coming back. Again, there is a situation where the church, after mediating and it is not working, can still ask them to live apart a whilst they still both work on themselves, think through, reflect a lot more, and see if they can always come back. But the church doesn't have the right. No pastor has.
Have you handled situations where the couple get back after that period?
Oh yes, I think last year I kept coming every Saturday for about a number of
Yeah,
Saturdays.
yes.
And those Saturdays, I kept coming for about 2 months. And I remember you said, "Oh, next
You,
week
I'll
I
let
would
you take
allow."
a break.
That's right.
And I made you take a very long
Yes.
break.
And it was my most beautiful year since I've been coming to Joy FM. I had a lot of people.
Wow.
And in the event, we were able to put back 9.
Wow.
9.
Who had been separated?
Yes, 9. And to the glory of God, I am always happy. I still keep checking on them. I still keep talking to them. I was going to their house. One of them, one man, he was really, really disrespectful. But we worked through it. When you bring it on, me, I'll fight. But at the end of it, the fight is to make sure that it all gets done. Yes, so we have had quite a number come back. There is a process to go through. Just that when only one person is ready to work it and the other person is not budging at all, then it becomes very, very difficult. You can see that Sewa was working, and usually it's the women who wants to work at it, make sure it works, make sure it works. And how much can you eat out of a bag of salt? Small. So when you are done all you can, and there's nothing more you can do. But we have had quite a number coming back. And I also know that even in the courts, the lawyers, the judges, they always try
to go back and see if you can make it work.
Sometimes the ADRs, mediation, many other things to bring them back.
Share with me briefly some of the emotions you deal with during that period.
Especially for the women, it is a very difficult time. Every woman's greatest joy is to be married and be married through and through till death. We really want to make the till death do us part work. And for a woman, when you are getting married, everybody tells you that, a very man is showing your nyampa, as if you are not sharing a very man your nyam too. That is the part I always have a difficulty with. As if when you are marrying a woman, you are doing a huge favor. And if there is a favor here, like I said the last time, we are both doing yes. So if you said, say, well, I'll marry, and if she said no, would we have a marriage? No. So it is both of us. We are there for one another. But for the woman, women are relationship oriented, and so they always want to have relationship. They want to be with their husband. They want to be with their children. They start talking about business, and at the end of it, or it ends with their marriage, or with their home, or with their children. So that is basic with women. But when a woman's marriage is not working, it's as if her whole world is collapsing, and it is very strong, very difficult for women to miss their marriages. The main thing is when did we get here? She's wondering what has happened over the years. She's wondering what was my part or the role I played in getting this marriage here. And usually the pain is very difficult on their mind. Sometimes it is tears is the least. People have become suicidal.
Yep.
Depression. Yes. Depression dear why do you not say depression and depression is it's difficult. Once I was dealing with a woman, and she were talking after it, I went to her house, and she had to take me back home, and we got to a point, and she stopped, and I asked, but why? She said, I feel like I am collapsing. I feel dizzy, and I feel like I am collapsing. And so I said, okay, we stopped. And then all of a sudden she passed out. She did. But we were just close to a clinic. And so I went in quickly, and I called them. I said, sister, you can't die. It is marriage. But sometimes it has taken. You have been in the marriage for a while, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. You have
dedicated everything to it.
A lady was being sent out. And when she was going out, she realized that her husband carried all her clothes from the wardrobe and threw them on the compound. And then it was that day she realized that she doesn't even have a suitcase herself. Over the years, this woman has been working in the bank for the last 18 years. Can't she buy a suitcase? But she realized that she has dedicated her life so much to her husband and to her children. She has nothing.
She didn't have a life.
She said she went in, took the trash bag and started packing her clothes. You can't imagine. And so for a woman, when she loses the marriage, she feels she has lost all.
Mama T, with this depression thing, I was there. I'm a very prim and proper person. My clothes, I fold them, arrange them in colors. Wesley girls did that to me. And
Yes, you
it
girls.
got to a point where I would recycle my clothes. Like, they're so dirty, I don't fold. And I eat and I pack my plates by my bed. I don't even bother to take them to the kitchen and wash them. Everything was messed. I didn't care about that. All I was thinking about is how this could get better. So it's real. It's real.
The depression part is amazing. Sometimes I have seen ladies who have become very suicidal. They are for the tears. Every minute they are crying. They are holding on to their pictures. They are reminding themselves of their wedding date. They are looking at where they wanted to get to, and the tears is the least. For tears, they are not there in cry. And there are women like it. So sometimes they let themselves go. So let me eat all. Who am I going to show my body to? After all, I am keeping this body for this woman. Man, women go through too much. I have met 2 men who have also gone through separation and they have really suffered.
Okay. I have some more. I think I have just bitten more than I can chew, but it's fine. This one says, good morning, Adam. What is the age difference between Sewa and the man? Did they know each other or someone connected them since the man lives outside? Okay, these questions I won't let Sewa answer because like I said earlier, this is not the focus. Yes. We're looking at eventually, whatever the age difference is, whoever connected them, however they met, whether it was a long distance marriage or whatever, they got married. I mean, they were together as a couple, and then they had to go through that period. We're looking at what happens within the period, and probably we'll make some other time to find out what could have been done, But then you're listening and you're realizing that, okay, story is still one-sided though, but yeah, she put in the efforts. She did say that at a point in time, the man wanted to work at it too. But then if you want to work at something and you already have your hands on something else, it's very difficult to concentrate on this one and make it work. So he had divided attention and then eventually it didn't work. Adam.
Yes.
This one. She has all the stories in the world. I mean, I think I can keep hosting her like every week for the next 1 year. Talk about issue with in-laws, she's there. Talk about stepchildren. Talk about everything, she's there. Last week she was at the show. We're looking at when you're going into marriage with children. And she had her own child and went into a marriage that has children and the wahala. She's gone in, divorced, so she's been through that period. And we had another conversation about. I've forgotten the conversation.
So many conversations.
We've had a lot of conversations. Adam.
Yes.
That period before you eventually got divorced, what happened?
I call that period the battleground. Actually, Adam, it's not easy. I can feel my sister's pain, and I can't remember my pain anymore.
Sure. That is the point you should get.
Yeah. Don't worry, it is well.
It is
You
well,
come
sure,
out-
it is
you come out of it. That is a period where you think you are always right. I mean, I moved out in August, September, I filed divorce. Because I realized that at that particular time, I was going to be very vulnerable. I mean, you're always talking, you want everybody to listen to your side of the story. You want everybody
Were
to
you also
know.
asked to move out or you moved out on your own?
I had to move out because
Did you have family come in?
yeah, family came in and then I had to move out.
Family said you should move out.
Yes, the man said I had to move out, and so I had to move out. The bottom line is,
Was he going to support you to get a place?
yeah, initially he wanted to support. I can't really remember what happened, but I moved out.
Okay.
And I went to rent a place in the flat. The suicidal thing. Sometimes I was at the last floor. Sometimes I go and stand on the balcony and I feel like dropping.
Yes.
Just going, just jumping. And that thing comes around 12 midnight.
Midnight.
Yeah. So I stand on my balcony naked. I don't know why I didn't jump. Because sometimes, like, today is today. I have to jump. And then I find myself sleeping.
Praise God.
So, and you have to call this person and tell this person this. And then he's going to pick the child from school on Friday. Then you quickly go early so that he will not have access to the child.
Hey, Minister.
And he also go early, and now teachers become mediators.
Ow.
Adam, it was.
Oh, no.
Yes, that is it. I mean, then you hear that he's going to say something, you also go and say something, and then he'll reply you, and you say this, you try and Adam, it was hectic.
Oh,
And then
everybody wanted to be right.
Everybody wanted to be
Everybody should
right.
listen to
And
us.
at that time, it came to me that sometimes you're like, oh, all this, look, it's because of love.
Yes.
You miss him. You want to hear from him.
Wow.
So you're like, okay, then let me call him. He doesn't pick. So when there's a little opportunity that you want to call, and then it becomes a fight. He's not going to pick the call. He hears your voice. He hangs up. And it was hell. Inasana divorced here.
No one divorce.
We get divorced, and I always tell people that I don't wish divorce for my enemies. No. Wow. If you are not strong enough,
You wonder where all the love went.
Sometimes you feel that sometimes when you are in such the relationship is not doing well, you feel that why won't I walk out and have my freedom? There's no freedom at all.
Anywhere.
It is sometimes even those who really file, those who really go ahead to put in the first application for divorce, they are those who really suffer the depression, either the woman or the man. See,
Masi, I remember the day that the judge ruled and said that, where it's done, it's annulled, you can go. Then my counsel was like, oh, Charlie, today there we have to chill, it's Freedom Day. And I just, when he said that, I just stood and I watched him. I said, you don't understand, do you?
Ow.
oh, for me that day was the happiest day. God, I don't know how to.
Wow.
Like I came out of the court screaming, I'm free, God. And I didn't care whoever was looking at me. I was like, because you don't know, and my divorce took 2 years, Adam. 2 years of emotional trauma. You go to court and the sort of things that are said, sort of things that that even his counsel you say, he will say, you will say, and you're like, really? And petty things. I got to a state, yes, my room, before I moved out, he actually took pictures of my room and then gave it to my family members. You see the sort of woman I married. Because, yes, I didn't care. I didn't lay the bed. I eat. The whole place was messy. And she's like, yeah, she's dirty. But what I was
You were
going
at
through,
your worst.
I was at my worst. I didn't feel like a woman anymore. So when I moved out, and one day I said, I think I need this divorce badly. So that day I went to court. I told my lawyer that, look, today if I don't get the divorce, I'm not leaving this court. Because every time you go to court,
There's something else.
And you are, let me tell you something. I remember when I was going to, I didn't have a car. So I'll take Trotro to High Court with my heels and everything in my bag. I
This is somebody who, I remember the first time we spoke, she said, Adam, the only place I haven't been to with my husband, I think, is hell.
yeah.
She lived well.
So I have to really make up and feel good
Within.
But then I'll go with my heels and I'll just walk in and try, but only God knows. God, I'm dying inside. And you sit there and then, so that day I told myself, look. So when they said, what do you want? I said, I don't want anything. I want my divorce.
That's it.
My lawyer was like, are you sure then? I said, I have made
You
up
just
my
want your life back.
I just want my life back because I'm a happy-go-lucky girl. I always want to be happy. But all of a sudden, and it didn't work out. I realized that I don't need to push anymore. I need my life back. I need that edem in me. I need that. So I move out. And bam.
Adams, we are full of energy.
Yes.
Wow! That studio is hot. Marriage. But it's a beautiful thing, though. It is, isn't it? It is.
It's I always tell people what I love is the weddings, the marriage. Somebody will say because you are divorced, you don't like marriage is a beautiful thing. When I say that and I remember all the fun that we had, the dreams that we had, that kind of relationship. Yeah, I think he was a bit older than me, but I grew up to his standard. And sometimes I miss being a wife. I won't lie to you. But I always look at the positive side of it. I don't want to look at the negative side of it. So I tell people, I talk to women a lot, women who want to divorce because one or the other, the husband is cheating.
Is the last.
I mean, we understand all.
It's the least.
Something that happened. I remember I went to a friend's office and said, "Look, Ghanaian men are promiscuous. And the boy. You see, so and other women, have genuine cases. You realize, look, this life threatening, so something needs to be done. But the petty ones, I tell them, look, you can go, but that period of going from the separation, is the most difficult.
Yeah.
You hang in there and let's talk about it. If you want to go, then you know that you are going. Because mind you, the man is also looking at, look, this girl is going. Is he going to see another man? And then you go to court and say, yes, the reason why I'm also leaving is because he's now flirting or he's now having a boyfriend or something. Yes, it will always come up. So why would you let somebody will say if you why you buy condom for two CDs, you won't buy condom for 2 CDs, but yet you somebody will be pregnant, the girl will be pregnant, and you have to face just because of 2 CDs. You couldn't buy, and then you are going through 9 months and all this while
Of pressure.
So why don't you really work at it? But marriage is beautiful, I tell you. So beautiful.
Yesterday when I shared the artwork, I got this message. I have been there. Anger, sadness, self-pity, denial, and the rebound. And that is how I discovered what pleasures Abla Jifa Gomashi. I got to know my own body more. Honorable Abla Jifa Gomashi. Mama Jamedo one, good morning. How are you, Mama?
I'm fine. Oh.
Great. I don't want to ask you any question. In about like a minute and a half, we're listening to you.
Well, it's divorce or separation or breaking any relationship is a difficult thing to do. But after the crying and all that you read, which was a great message to you, by the way, you also get the moment when you ask yourself, who am I? What am I supposed to do? That's when you discover yourself. For me, that's what happened. When I moved out of my relationship many years ago, I got a full year of trying to know who I am, what makes me happy, what pleasures me. I had intimacy with myself, and that brought me back to where I wanted to be. And I was able to pick up the pieces and move on. For some, it comes fast. For me, it works fast. For some people, you have to grope in the dark for a long time. But in all of it, I think that's the moment also that you get to connect with your God, your spirituality, the inner you. That message that God says that He created you in His image. You're able to connect with that image that's within, the part of you that nobody can see but only God can see. For me, it was during that time that I discovered that when I speak, God hears me. And if I listen hard enough, I hear him. So it's not all bad. I want to encourage the amazing people that are with you in the studio and say that that when the egg is broken, you can buy another egg. It may not be the same. You have some eggs that are white, some are brown, but you have opportunity to start again. And if it's your calling to be married again, why not? You will be married again. I did, and I learned from where I came from. So I am a better person, and I know how to deal with situations that come my way in my marriage now. So let's learn to just love ourselves more and discover who we are. That inner self keeps us strong and keeps us going. And that's for you too, Adam.
Mama.
Mama
Akpe,
hungry.
thank you very much for
You're
sharing.
welcome, my dear.
Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you very, very much.
The rebound always comes. Give
Yeah.
yourself the opportunity, it will come.
I think that they are fine. But then there are lots of other people out there who may be going through this phase. So these wise words of counsel is very timely. Thank you very much. God bless you for sharing.
Thank you too, my dear. And you're doing such an amazing work.
We bless God.
Country for God and
And
country.
then nyatatetem. Thank you. I'm sure if we had all the time in the world, we'll have everybody sharing their stories. This is from one of my very good friends. She says, so true. If you're not strong enough, don't try divorce. My happiest day too was that fateful day, 31st October 2016, when my marriage was annulled. It was as if burdens have been lifted at Calvary's cross. Wow. 0302216541. We can pick a few phone calls. This one says, good morning. I'm enjoying your program and I'm also learning too. Today is our 1 year anniversary. Wish my very lovely wife, Grace Agbalekpo in Ho, a happy anniversary from Brighton Ho. So, Grace, enjoy your marriage. Busy mothers never seem to have enough hands when preparing these special meals their families love. But now there's an extra helping hand when they are cooking, and that's Olga seasoning powder. Olga adds more taste and aroma to soups and stews, and it's available in 5 delicious flavors: stew, classic chicken, shrimp, and 3 mix. 1 sachet of Olga is equal to 2 stock cubes, so you only have to add what you need. This makes Olga so convenient to use. Try Olga seasoning powder and shrimp tablet today and discover the magic of Mama's helping hand. And now there's the new 50-gram sachet serving. Try it today. Olga, Mama's helping hand. Yesterday, a friend shared a story with me. I was like, hey, some are difficult too. Like you're going through separation and you live in the same house with a person, you have children, you go to the same church, but you're living apart. Hey!
It is for 3 years.
Oh,
I met a couple, they live together, they have agreed to be there. And 3 years, 3 long years.
10. I know of 10. 10
Wow.
years.
And they lived in the same house.
Yes. It was just recently that the woman's mother passed and then she moved out of the house.
But sometimes I will still wonder, how long do you want to take to get it working? You know, and I so connect with what Mama was talking about. For all of us as women and mothers, I think it is about time we start teaching our children a little more. Our daughters, our sons, the who I am thing.
Yeah.
There are too many people who have still not, and that is why when these things are happening, yes, the God who made it decided that it should be forever. But there are times when there are too many difficulties and something must happen.
Right.
But for women, we have been trained. No, it's your marriage. Or I agree completely. But is it to the point of when you are almost dying and you are dead, then because you died at your marriage, you tried. While you still have all of your life ahead of you. I am not condoning anything at all, but I am saying that there is a point where young women especially should be made to answer the who am I question. When you answer it well, it's not only in marriage, in every
Aspect
other
of your
aspect
life.
of life. When you understand who you truly are, it is perhaps your strongest tower that you can run to.
Let me speak
apart
to
from God.
Emmanuel. Hello, Emmanuel. Good morning. Emmanuel, are you there?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, Emmanuel, you're on air.
I really want to advise the young studios. Well, after my
Emmanuel, could you position yourself properly? We're getting some breaks.
Hello,
Yeah, it's better.
is it better?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So mine wasn't really a marriage. I was living with this lady that I was planning to get married to, and she somehow had a problem with my mom. She had come to steal food items from her, and it really was a big problem. I did whatever to resolve the issue. It just didn't work. And I break up that deep down, and I did whatever I could to stop. But then, from there now, I'm really going through I barely committed suicide. So it appears some of us men to find it difficult going through that period. So they're doing a great job. I just want to
Thank you very much. Thank you. And the Indomie instant noodle, tastes great. Indomie instant noodle is a complete, wholesome and delicious meal. It is full of essential nutrients and is rich in calcium, proteins, carbs and vitamins. So have it anytime, anywhere. Also, you can add your personal touch to your favorite Indomie meal by adding your choice of ingredients like vegetables, egg, fish, chicken, meat, and prepare Indomie the way you love it. So good, love it your way. For tasty Indomie recipes and other details, check out Indomie Ghana page on Facebook and Instagram. Indomie, tastes great.
Hello.
Hi, Andrew. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to all of you. Eden, I just called to plead for you to let this topic continue because we are learning from it. So that's why I call. And I hope it will travel up to some time. So continue this topic for me. That's why I call.
Andrew, thank you very much for calling. Hope you're well.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
And Frytol vegetable cooking oil is produced by Wilma Africa Limited. It is made from the finest palm fruits around the world, including plantations in Ghana. Due to its plant heritage, Frytol is cholesterol-free oil. It is further fortified with vitamin A, which is good for you. Your favorite Frytol is the only cooking oil in Ghana, endorsed by the Ghana Medical Association. When it comes to cooking oil, you can never go wrong with Frytol. Frytol, making life memorable. And CB Men and Women's Capsules is a special preparation for sexual problems in men and women. Indications for women include vaginal itching and discharges, pain during sex, low libido, pain and burning sensation during urination. And indications for men, waist pains, if you're having urine retention that causes the use of catheter, also double urination and burning sensation and pain during urination, discharge during urination, and all other urinal issues. Then caution, CB Men and Women's Capsules are not suitable for pregnant women, lactating mothers and children below 12 years. For bulk purchases, you can contact Nana Boache Herbal Accra, Okanshi Drag Lane, Kings Walk, Okanshi Hallows, Okanshi Felchrist is Herbalist in Medina, Tribe of Judah Herbalist in Kaswa and Kanishi, Equus Pharmacies in Ashaiman, Gapson's Pharmacy is in Koforidia. Please call them on 0247 111 671, also on 0246 578 750 and 0249 610049. All right. So if you're just joining in, or if you know someone who missed the show and you really want them to listen in, all is not lost. video will be uploaded on YouTube, so you can go and see it. And the Executive Secretary of the National Accreditation Board, Mr. Kwame Date, is 60 years today. He's also retiring after serving the nation in that capacity for 15 years. This is from the staff of Accreditation Board. So congratulations to you. Happy 60th birthday to you. And God bless you for serving. Okay, my last caller is here, Kelvin. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, morning, Kevin, quickly.
Okay. It's true, Eden. What you are discussing now is true. I believe that you may continue this kind of topic that you are bringing to the program now. It's very, very true.
Yeah.
Very easy.
You have an experience to share?
Yeah.
We haven't heard from the men. A few men you contacted, I'll come. Then Sewa has issues with that. Could you leave your number with Daniela for me?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we could make time and hear from you. We haven't heard from the men, so it would be nice if you would want to share your story. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And please, the men, be receptive. Marriage is between men and women, not just women. So, Adam, if it won't work, it simply won't work. You will pray, you will talk, you will be advised, but if your partner is not ready, you will just be hurting yourself and will die slowly. So advise yourself. Wow. Okay. Our show is almost done for the morning. I'll just quickly take your must it be final words? People are asking that we continue. We'll look at how we can replot this and see which angle we can tackle again. But Adam, before you leave this morning, your final words on the show this morning.
What I want to say is, you
have just about 10 seconds.
Our society also play a role. Especially we women, we think all is about marriage. Yes, the Bible even says that. So all we work towards is marriage. But as Madame Egoma, she said, know yourself. Know who you are. What you can take, what can you not take, your limits. And then pray more. Leave everything in God's hands. Just talk or whatever it is. I don't wish divorce for anybody.
Great. From you, Sewa.
Okay. So like Adam said, and like Madame Abnagoma, she said, it's a time that you have to get intimate with yourself. I discovered myself, things I enjoy doing, and that is what got me into Roverman to do what I'm doing today.
Yeah.
And there's so much that I've been able to do now that I don't think that I could have been able to. I didn't think I would have been able to do that. So if you're going through it, just put yourself together, be strong, pray. You will be fine.
Amen. And Mama T.
Yes, I want to say two quick things. Every separation and divorce, mostly, I can't say all of them, comes from hardness of heart. Mm-hmm. People are just hard heart. I won't give in. I won't budge. This is what I'm ready to do. But understand that it is not only about you. If there are children in the union, it also affects them, family, church, society. And if you are also going through it, it is time to have a very sober reflection. Think through what has been your part in all of this. What can you change? What needs to be changed? For the woman and for the man, let us both think through and talk less. In this time, it is very easy for you to talk to everybody, especially women. You want everybody to hear your story. Just talk less and allow God to help you deal with it.
Allow God to help you deal with it. And I believe it's a very strong period of epiphany, where you just go into yourself and begin to understand things in a new way and, do an introspection and lean on God. It is well. I know there are lots of people going through this at this time, and we hope that we have been able to, speak some life into your situation. Enjoy the weekend. This morning we're laying my cousin to rest, Bridget Akos-Dedume, and the whole family. I say, God strengthen us. Daniela, thank you very much for the support. And thank you all for doing the listening. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you, Mama T.